안녕하세요. 제 이름은 에미입니다. 저는 시애틀에서 왔습니다. 한국에 쉬러 왔습니다. So I own a business in the States, and I like to come and rest in Korea. Also, Korea, it gives me a lot of ideas. There's a lot of innovation here, and just gives me a lot of inspiration. So, and the people are just really, really nice. And there's lots of things to do that you can do even as a foreigner if you're not even going to be here for, you're not coming over here to teach and live, but if you come over here often for short periods of time, there's lots of things to do that are really great. So as far as knowing how to do Korean, I first started with like Duolingo, and there's also this other program called Drops. And so I started with that. Of course, during COVID, there was lots of times for K-dramas and things of that nature. I have a music studio, so I was a little aware of the music scene here. And so I love Super Junior and listening to their songs. So there's that as well. My grandfather also served in the military here in Korea, and that was a huge impact on his life. It was a huge thing for him after World War II to come to Korea. That helped him kind of get recentered again. When I come to Korea, I stay in different areas and different neighborhoods. So I've been in Yeongdeung-pu, and I'm currently in Gwanak-gu. And so I try and pick a different area to stay in in Seoul, so that I can learn something new every time I come. Joining the language exchange has been amazing. You can really connect with people. You get to talk with a lot of different platforms. You also get to, as someone I'm a little older, so with the younger people in the group, they have a lot of questions about life. And seeing how someone outside of Korea also has had these same questions in their life and what they've done, I think has been really helpful. The group is very, very accepting, very welcoming. They're so much fun, so much fun. And it's just, I would encourage anyone coming to join one, if not necessarily this language group, though I would highly recommend this language group because they're just amazing and accepting. I would encourage that because you get to see another side of Korea and the culture outside of just what you're going to see as a normal tourist. The parties are a lot of fun, and you don't have to, if you're not a drinker, you don't have to feel like, because there is that stigma, like, oh, if you come to Korea and if you're going to go to a party, then they're expecting you to drink. And if you're not a drinker, don't worry about that, because you can still do the parties, you can still do everything else, and you do water instead. And it's a very easy transition. The parties are a lot of fun. There's lots of different games. The food is amazing. So, and obviously I'm someone who knows a bit about food, but the food is absolutely amazing. And like I say, every experience that you have with the people in Korea gives you another level of knowledge about the culture in Korea. Not just the historical culture, but today's culture and what tomorrow's culture might be. So my friend that I brought tonight, we actually met through church. And there's been some other friends, and she's actually Korean, but she speaks English. She has an English academy. And then my other friends who are foreigners that I've been trying to get them to also kind of come, especially like to the parties and things. They work at the international school, but they're south of Seoul. So it's a little farther for them. So with their work schedules and things of that nature, but they just love the idea of this group. They really do. They just wish it was a little closer to them. We also met, one of my friends, we met through church as well, and it's an English-speaking church, and then her colleagues. I also tend to volunteer at children's homes and things like that, so I've met a lot of people that way. And there's been a couple of friends who I know want to increase their English knowledge, and I've encouraged them to join a group like this. I've sent them the link for this one for Meetup, but whether or not they'll do it, I don't know. But I was just like, oh, this is just so much fun. So yeah. I am studying Korean. I have an over 1,000-day streak on Duolingo, but my Korean's really bad or low level. I always encourage everyone with language to don't say good or bad. You're just, you're low level. And so, yeah, I have a lower level. I know I need to practice it more with Korean. I think one of the things that's really easy when you come to groups like this is, especially when you're the one that's with English, that's doing the English, is to always do English all the time. At the tables, though, with the beginners, it's always nice to have them try to talk to them in Korean so they can see how good I'm not, and that makes them feel a little better about how they judge themselves with English. I think this is a huge component with learning English. In the States, I also work with people who are learning English, and I've done both the book way, and while there is that aspect, the one-on-one, get a book, look through that, but it's really the speaking and learning how to say the words and communicate. Because especially in the States, when I deal with people who are frustrated with their English, they know what to say. They think they're saying it clearly, but they're like, no one can understand me. And they get frustrated. And then, so they stop. They just stop because they get frustrated, and people are like, what? And they're so tired of hearing that. And so being able to speak and having those conversations, especially with people who will gently correct them or help them with those kind of things, I think that is the biggest part of learning a language, because you can understand like crazy, but if you can't relate your own thoughts in that language, then it's always going to be a one-sided situation. Good thing, bad thing. I could make a video for hours about the good things with Korea. So I love the transportation system. Being a person who's larger, I love how there's a lot of perceptions about, if you don't fit in this certain norm, if you travel to Korea, it's going to be like this or that. Those perceptions are just perceptions. They're not reality at all. Of course, there's always people who are nice and people who are mean in every culture. But I've never felt judged or anything. And people are just always so sweet and kind. When I was in Yeongdeungpo especially, there's a lot of older people there. And when you get out to walk during the day and you see them walking and doing their things and just being out and about, I love that. It's just so sweet. I love so many things about Korea. As far as not what I don't like about Korea, I don't like when I have to leave and I have to go back to reality. I'm from Arizona originally, and I love the heat. Humidity heat's a different thing for me for the summer. So, and it makes me feel kind of like I'm doing something when I'm melting or when I'm really... because of the humidity, but I haven't yet found anything that I really can say that I don't like this in Korea. For anyone who's thinking about joining this group or a group like it and you're scared about it, so there's a saying that I teach music, and for my students there's a saying about fear, and fear is false evidence appearing real. You can live by your fears, or you can live through your fears. And everything you do that's safe but scary, because there are some scary things you definitely shouldn't do, but anything that's scary but it's still safe to try, do it. Because the worst thing that's going to happen is what? You're not going to like it. Well, then you don't like it. But what's the best thing that can happen? And doing that assessment in there, okay, if I go and I try and it goes well, what am I going to get out of it? If I go and I try and it goes bad, what am I really going to lose? You're going to be in the exact same spot that you were before. But when I first came to Korea, I came to Korea knowing very, 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 very little Korean, knowing nobody, coming by myself not really knowing what to expect or how I was going to do things, and it has been the best risk of my life. If there's something you want to do, if there's something you want to learn, just do it. Just do it. Don't look back. Look forward. If you keep looking back, you're going to bump into whatever's in front of you. And you always want to look forward and do it and try. And there's a saying that making mistakes is the best way to learn. So even though the person at the store may laugh at me when I try and get my trash bags, I still try. It gives them a really good chuckle. They can help me out. It makes them feel good about themselves. And then I'm like, oh, at least I tried today. So just try. 감사합니다. Bye-bye.